My wife laughed when I said I wanted to get into photography. You always pick up weird hobbies, she said. So I bought a drone. At first, I used it for scenic shots. Then I got curious. One Saturday, I flew it over our block and saw her on our back deck, in a bathrobe, sitting on another man's lap. I recorded everything. That night, I played the footage during family movie night. Her mom cried. I just hit replay. I never thought I'd be that guy, you know? The one who gets betrayed by the person they trust the most. We live in Apex, North Carolina. One of those fast-growing towns that's trying real hard to still feel small. I'm 37. I work in IT. I'm not flashy, not one of those guys who needs to be the center of attention. I work. I pay the bills. I mow the lawn. I thought that's what a good husband did. Rachel and I had been married 8 years. We met in high school. She was the loud one, the popular one. I was the guy fixing computers in the back of the class. We were opposites, but somehow it worked. Or I thought it did. Over time, Rachel got a little meaner about the things I liked. I picked up woodworking. She joked about the ugly bird coffins I made. Tried to learn guitar. She said I sounded like a dying cat. Started brewing my own beer. She told everyone it tasted like pea water. Every time, it felt like a tiny cut. But I let it go. I thought that's just what marriage was. Teasing, laughing, moving on. Then one night, we were sitting on the couch. She had her legs curled under her, scrolling through her phone, half listening while I talked about maybe taking a photography class at the local community center. Something to get me out of the house more, meet new people. She laughed. Not a cute giggle. Not a supportive chuckle. A full-on, head thrown back, mocking laugh. You always pick up the weirdest hobbies, she said, wiping tears from her eyes. You're like a kid chasing butterflies. It's adorable but sad. I smiled like it didn't hurt. I told her I'd think about it more. The next day, I bought a drone. It started simple. I'd drive out to Jordan Lake at sunrise. I'd fly the drone over the water, the trees, the empty parking lots. I'd watch the footage later and feel peaceful. Like maybe I was good at something after all. I kept it up for weeks. I was proud of what I was making. Even started a little Instagram page. No one was following me except for a few bot accounts. But still, it was mine. Then one Saturday morning, I woke up early. Rachel was still asleep. Her phone was buzzing on the nightstand like crazy. I glanced at it. Some guy's name I didn't recognize. Logan. A bunch of missed calls and texts. Heart emojis. Something twisted in my gut, but I shoved it down. I grabbed the drone and went out back. I figured maybe I'd fly it over our block, get a nice aerial shot of the neighborhood. Something different. I sent it up, way above the treetops, then steered it over toward our house. That's when I saw her. Rachel. On our back deck. Wearing nothing but a thin white bathrobe. Sitting on some guy's lap. His hand was up under the robe, on her thigh. She was laughing, the same way she laughed at me. I stared at the screen, my hands shaking. And then my thumb hit record. I zoomed in. Captured it all. Her kissing him. Her leaning in, whispering. Him squeezing her and laughing too. It felt like my brain was on fire. Like the world I thought I lived in was gone. But I didn't confront her. Not yet. Rachel's parents were coming over that night for family movie night. Rachel loved showing off for them, acting like the perfect wife, the perfect life. I spent the afternoon planning. I loaded the footage onto a USB drive. Set it to autoplay when the TV turned on. When evening came, Rachel was all smiles. She hugged her mom, laughed with her dad. She kept asking me what movie I picked. I just told her it was a surprise. We sat down. Pizza on the coffee table. Popcorn bowls in everyone's laps. Rachel snuggled up next to me on the couch. I picked up the remote, turned on the TV, and there it was. Our neighborhood. Our backyard. Rachel. And him. At first, nobody said a word. Rachel's mom tilted her head, confused. Then the camera zoomed in. Clear as day, Rachel, in her bathrobe, on another man's lap. Her mom gasped. Her dad made a choking noise. The popcorn bowl slipped from Rachel's hands, spilling across the floor. Rachel shot to her feet. What the hell is this? Turn it off. I didn't say a word. I just hit replay. Her mom started crying, covering her mouth with both hands, sobbing like her heart was breaking. Her dad stood up, turned his back on Rachel, and walked out onto the porch. Rachel dropped to her knees in front of me, grabbing my hands. Please, baby, please, it's not what it looks like. I pulled my hands away. I looked her dead in the eyes and said, You laughed at me. Thought I was a joke. How's the punchline feel now? I got up, grabbed my keys, and walked out. Left her there, crying on the floor. I stayed at my friend Brandon's place that night. He didn't ask questions, just handed me a beer and let me sit in silence. The next morning, I called a lawyer. North Carolina is one of the few states where you can still sue for alienation of affection. Meaning, I could drag both of them into court. I started gathering everything. The texts, the drone footage, screenshots from her phone when she wasn't looking. I was going to make sure Rachel lost everything. And honestly, that was just the beginning. I thought Rachel would lay low after that night. Maybe cry, maybe hide, maybe even act sorry. I was wrong. 2 days later, I got served papers at Brandon's house. Rachel was suing me for emotional distress and trying to file for a separation with her as the injured party. She was telling everyone I was controlling, that I was emotionally abusive, that I had been spying on her, making her feel unsafe. The nerve. She told her parents some twisted version of the story too. Claimed the man on the deck was just an old friend who came over to talk, and I twisted it because I was paranoid. Funny how friends put their hands up your rope, huh? Problem for her was, I had more than just drone footage. A week before everything blew up, Rachel had left her old iPhone in the junk drawer. I pulled it out and started digging. Old texts, old photos, old videos. Turns out Logan wasn't a one-time thing. He wasn't even the only thing. There were 3 different men. Some of the messages were so filthy they made my hands shake reading them. But it gets better. One of the guys was married, with kids. I found his wife's info in his Facebook friends list. Sent her everything. Turns out, she had no clue either. We agreed to meet up for coffee to swap more information. That's when it all blew wide open. Her name was Melissa. She was tough. No tears, no trembling. She showed up with a manila envelope full of printed screenshots. Turns out, Melissa had been suspicious too. She just never had proof until now. Melissa and I compared notes for hours. Found overlaps. Found receipts. Found dates where Rachel had told me she was working late. And turns out, she was at hotels. She even used our money sometimes. The money I earned fixing broken server rooms and sitting in traffic for hours a day. I felt sick, but I also felt focused. I wasn't just going to divorce Rachel. I was going to destroy her reputation. First, I gave everything to my lawyer. He grinned like a kid on Christmas morning. We're going to tear her apart in court, he said. We'll file for at-fault divorce. You'll get the house, and probably more. Then I went to Rachel's workplace. She worked at a small marketing firm downtown. I knew her boss. He was strict about public image. I didn't say a word to him. Just mailed an anonymous envelope with pictures, screenshots, and a short note. Your employee represents your company in public. Thought you should know how she conducts herself. 2 weeks later, Rachel got fired. Rachel was spiraling. I could tell because she started texting me. First, long sobbing apologies. Then angry rants. Then desperate offers. I'll do anything. Just please don't ruin me, she wrote once. I can explain, she wrote another time. You're ruining both of our lives, she whined. Nah, she ruined it herself. Meanwhile, Melissa filed for divorce from her husband too. Turns out, he was the one Rachel was sitting on during the drone video. Small world. They ended up burning each other down in court. It was beautiful. One night, about a month into the whole mess, I came home to find Rachel sitting on the front porch. Hair messy. Eyes red. She looked small. Broken. Can we talk? She asked, voice shaking. I stood there, keys in hand. You didn't just cheat, I said. You made me feel like I was the loser. You laughed at me. You spat on everything I gave you. She opened her mouth to speak. I shook my head. There's nothing left to say. I walked past her. Locked the door behind me. Turned off the porch light. She sat there for a while. Then I heard her sobbing fade as she walked down the street, alone. I thought that might be the last I'd see of her. It wasn't. 2 weeks later, I got a call from my lawyer. He sounded amused. Hey, he said, did you know Rachel's contesting the prenup? I almost dropped the phone. We didn't even have a prenup. She's claiming you forced her into marriage, he said, laughing. That you manipulated her. This woman was out of her mind. Turns out, Rachel had hired some sleazy attorney downtown, the kind who advertises on bus benches, promising to get you everything you deserve after a breakup. They were trying to paint me as some evil, controlling husband. All because she was desperate to get something out of me. Problem was, Rachel didn't know what I had lined up next. A buddy of mine, Justin, owns a print shop. We got together one night over beers, and I told him everything. He got this grin on his face. "You should publish the footage," he said. "Not online. Physical. Old school." The idea hit me like lightning. So we did. We took screenshots from the drone footage. Still frames. Dates. Times. Put them together in a glossy, professional-looking booklet. Cover title: A View from Above, The Hidden Life of Rachel K. I printed 200 copies. I mailed one to every house on our street. Every coworker I could find on LinkedIn. Every friend and family member still dumb enough to believe Rachel's lies. I didn't include a name on the return address. Didn't need to. When people opened that envelope, they saw exactly who she was. Page after page. Image after image. Timestamp after timestamp. No commentary. No insults. Just facts. The fallout was immediate. Her phone blew up first. Screaming matches with her family. Former friends cutting her off. Someone, probably her own cousin, even posted a few photos from the booklet to Facebook. Captioned it, "Guess cheaters really do get caught." Rachel's reputation didn't just take a hit. It imploded. She showed up at my door again a few days after the booklets went out. This time, she wasn't crying. She was furious. "You ruined my life," she screamed, pounding on the door. "You're a sick freak." I opened the door just a crack. "You ruined it yourself," I said calmly. Then I shut the door in her face. You'd think she'd give up after that. But no. Rachel tried one more Hail Mary. She accused me of harassment. Filed a police report saying I was spying on her, stalking her, making her feel unsafe. Except, she forgot one tiny thing. I wasn't the one showing up at other people's homes. I wasn't the one pounding on doors, sending crazy texts, harassing people. I was smart. I had doorbell cam footage. Saved texts. Witnesses. When the police came to talk, I showed them everything. They apologized and left. 3 days later, Rachel got a visit from them instead. Charges: false police report. Harassment. Defamation. At that point, the only thing left between us was the divorce trial. And let me tell you, I wasn't planning to just show up. I had something final planned. Something that would make sure Rachel knew, deep in her bones, that she hadn't just lost her marriage. She'd lost everything. The day of the divorce trial felt like Judgment Day. Rachel showed up wearing a black dress, trying to look innocent, like she was a grieving widow instead of the lying cheat she really was. Her lawyer looked tired. Mine looked excited. When the judge called us up, it was like a courtroom drama. Rachel's lawyer gave some weak speech about how marriage is complicated and both sides made mistakes. Rachel even tried to squeeze out some fake tears. Then it was my lawyer's turn. He didn't say much. He didn't have to. He played the drone footage, the texts, the hotel receipts, the copies of Rachel using our money to pay for dates and rooms. He even showed the booklet. Held it up and flipped through the pages. Rachel's face turned redder and redder. She looked like she wanted to vanish into the floor. The judge sat there stone-faced, flipping through evidence. At one point, she sighed and shook her head. It was over before it even started. I got the house. I kept my truck. I kept my retirement fund. Rachel got nothing. No spousal support. No house. No car. In fact, because of the lies she told, she got stuck with court fees and fines. Tens of thousands of dollars she didn't have. When the judge read the ruling out loud, Rachel broke down in real tears this time. She tried to run out of the courtroom. Her heel snapped halfway across the floor, and she fell hard, right in front of everyone. No one moved to help her, not even her lawyer. I walked out past her without a word. A few months later, I heard Rachel was living in a tiny apartment above a sketchy laundromat, working 2 dead-end jobs. Alone. No Logan. No friends. No family willing to pick up the pieces. She tried reaching out once more. Sent me a pathetic email, apologizing, begging for a second chance, saying she was a different person now. I didn't reply. I didn't need to. Because the best revenge wasn't the court battle. It wasn't the money. It wasn't even the public humiliation. The best revenge was watching her destroy herself, trying to tear me down, and knowing I didn't even have to lift a finger anymore.